Have you ever found yourself late in the evening, longing for something sweet, but worried that the desserts you once loved might no longer be the best fit for you? Many older adults begin to notice subtle changes in their taste preferences and digestion over time. Foods that used to be a joy might feel too heavy or too sugary now, making it difficult to indulge without discomfort or guilt. But here's a comforting thought. Satisfying your sweet tooth after 75 doesn't have to come with regret or health concerns. In fact, with just a little know-how, you can enjoy soft, fruit-based desserts that are both nourishing and mouth-wateringly delicious. Imagine savoring a warm, gently spiced pear or a creamy yogurt parfait bursting with fresh berries. Treats that make your heart sing and support your well-being at the same time. For years, I've been guiding older adults towards simpler, more pleasurable eating habits that fit their changing needs. Through experience and continuous learning, drawing on general nutrition insights that many experts advocate, I've seen firsthand how a few small dessert tweaks can bring enormous joy. By focusing on fruits that are naturally soft or can be softened easily, you can protect your teeth and gums, assist healthy digestion, and still relish those comforting, sweet flavors. The best part? You don't need to be a professional chef or break the bank to prepare these treats. With easy-to-find ingredients and quick preparation steps, you can unlock a world of desserts that feel like a warm hug for your soul. Why does it matter? As we age, our bodies handle sugar differently. We might also face issues like dry mouth, gum sensitivity, or fluctuating blood sugar levels. Overly processed or extremely sugary desserts may cause spikes in energy followed by crashes, or lead to digestive discomfort that makes you think twice before indulging again. This can dampen your enjoyment of food, one of life's most basic and wonderful pleasures. Soft fruit desserts offer a middle ground. They allow you to keep dessert on the menu, but with natural sweetness, added fiber, and crucial vitamins that help maintain overall vitality. Today, we're going to explore 4 particular dessert ideas that can help transform your relationship with sweet treats. If you've been feeling stuck, if you're worried that age-related changes mean the end of dessert fun, or if you simply want a new go-to indulgence, these ideas could open the door to a delightfully surprising set of options. By the end of this conversation, you'll see how possible it is to relish comforting desserts, even if you've had dental work or dietary restrictions, without feeling you're betraying your health goals. Not only will you discover how to make them, but you'll also learn small adjustments that allow you to tailor each recipe to your unique needs, such as using sugar substitutes or adjusting the texture to accommodate chewing difficulties. I'd love for you to think of this as a friendly chat between us, rather than a strict set of rules. You know your body better than anyone else does, so always honor what feels right. Take whatever resonates with you. Maybe you'll try just one dessert to start, or maybe you'll jump right in and experiment with them all. And let me know what you think. Share your thoughts in the comments if something truly hits the spot, or if you've got a personal twist to add. These 4 desserts are just the starting point. And once you taste how good fruit-based sweets can be, you might find yourself inventing your own variations too. Let's begin by challenging a common idea. Many people believe all desserts are automatically bad and should be avoided as we grow older. While excessive sugar intake can be detrimental, especially for those managing conditions like diabetes or heart concerns, dessert itself isn't the real enemy. It's all about selecting wholesome ingredients, controlling portions, and adjusting sweetness levels. Ready to dig in? One misconception you may have heard again and again is that dessert must be loaded with sugar and creams to be enjoyable. This belief often comes from decades of diet trends that see sweets as a guilty pleasure or an indulgence that should be extremely rich. Let's look at how a fellow dessert lover, Irene, now 78, managed to break free from that mindset. Irene used to rely on packaged cookies for her nightly treat. Although she loved the crunchy texture and sugary flavor, the side effects weren't so great. Often, she'd wake up the next day with a dry mouth, feeling sluggish, and occasionally dealing with uncomfortably high blood sugar readings. At her last checkup, her healthcare provider suggested cutting back on processed sugar. Irene was disappointed at first, thinking it meant she'd have to forego the enjoyment that dessert brought her. Then she started experimenting with softer fruits, especially pears. Instead of grabbing cookies, she sliced up a couple of ripe pears, sprinkled them with cinnamon, and popped them into the oven until they became soft and caramelized. The aroma alone lifted her spirits. It was sweet, comforting, and felt surprisingly decadent. What Irene discovered was a brand new way of thinking about dessert. The natural sweetness from fruit, heightened by a little gentle heat, offered all the satisfaction she craved without the refined sugar spikes. From an evidence-based standpoint, gently cooked fruit desserts allow you to retain much of the fruit's fiber, which helps with digestion. You also gain the benefit of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. The fiber in pears, for example, can help stabilize blood sugar levels more effectively than a dessert made primarily of refined flour and sugar. To recreate Irene's go-to dish, slice pears into halves and remove the core. Place them in a baking dish with a small splash of water or low-sugar fruit juice, sprinkle with cinnamon, or nutmeg if you like, and bake at around 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 degrees Celsius, until tender. The fruit's juices concentrate, forming a naturally sweet syrup at the bottom of the dish. Top with a dollop of plain Greek yogurt if you'd like a cool, creamy contrast. This dessert is soft enough for those with dental sensitivities and offers an emotional lift too, as the warm smell of baking pears can evoke cozy memories, perhaps reminding you of fall gatherings or holidays gone by. Finding this balance between taste and health has an immediate emotional payoff. You get to enjoy dessert without post-sugar guilt. The physical benefits include a steadier release of energy, gentle support for digestion, and the peace of mind that you're fueling your body with more whole foods. Irene also noted that her energy levels improved after switching to fruit-based desserts. She wasn't slumping mid-morning from a sugary crash. This newfound vitality encouraged her to take more walks around her neighborhood, positively affecting both her waistline and her outlook on life. It's worth asking yourself, are there any fruit varieties you've sidelined because you were told dessert is off limits? Could you reintroduce them in a softer, more senior-friendly way? Give it a thought while we explore a second misconception. This one about whether fruit desserts are too bland to truly enjoy. Surprisingly, many older adults think that once you reduce sugar, desserts become tasteless. Thankfully, that myth couldn't be further from the truth. Let's look at Henry, who at 82 grew up in a time when refined white sugar was a kitchen staple. Over the years, he became quite accustomed to ultra-sweet puddings and pies. When he began to notice digestive issues, his doctor recommended cutting back on rich, sugary treats. But dessert without sugar? Henry lamented. How is that even dessert? That sentiment is common and understandable. We're wired to love sweetness. Still, Henry's experience shows there's a hidden world of flavor in natural fruits, herbs, and gentle spices that can delight your palate more than you might think. Henry discovered fruit compotes, where fruits like apples, peaches, or a medley of berries are slowly simmered. By cooking them with a bit of water, a squeeze of lemon, and mild spices like cinnamon or ginger, you get a robust flavor without spoonfuls of added sugar. Henry started with apples, cutting them into small cubes, tossing them into a saucepan with some water, cinnamon sticks, and a pinch of ground cloves. He let it simmer until the apples softened and began to break down into a saucy consistency. At the end, he tasted it and realized it was plenty sweet naturally. If you crave extra sweetness, a teaspoon of honey or a sugar substitute could easily be added. But Henry found that just the fruit's own sugars created a taste that felt homely and comforting. He served it warm in a small bowl, occasionally topping it with unsweetened whipped cream for a bit of indulgence. It was the perfect remedy for those cold evenings when he wanted something fulfilling yet gentle on the stomach. Beyond flavor, fruit compotes can help you handle certain medication schedules more smoothly. High-fiber fruits, especially apples, can help with regularity, reducing the discomfort of constipation that sometimes occurs with certain prescriptions or limited mobility. Compotes also have a soft texture, making them easier to chew and swallow, particularly helpful if you have dentures or sensitive gums. Emotionally, enjoying a spoonful of warm fruit compote feels like a soothing ritual, almost reminiscent of childhood comforts. It can transform a seemingly dull evening into a cozy, heartwarming moment. If the idea of fruit compote intrigues you, give it a try and let me know if the smell of simmering fruit doesn't bring back some positive memories. Or share your own twist. Maybe you'd add a splash of vanilla extract or a pinch of nutmeg. Before we move on, I'd love to hear from you. Can you think of a fruit you haven't tried in ages that might be fun to incorporate into a compote or a similar soft dessert? It could be peaches, berries, or even something more exotic like mangoes. Sometimes simply reintroducing a long-forgotten flavor can reignite your enjoyment of dessert in an exciting way. Next, let's address another hurdle: the belief that anything featuring creamy elements, like yogurt, is either too tangy or not quite indulgent enough to be called dessert. Many older adults, especially those who grew up associating a treat with ice cream or pudding, assume yogurt is an uninspired alternative. Claire, 76, faced this doubt after her healthcare provider suggested she incorporate more calcium and probiotics into her diet. She was skeptical because she'd tasted plain yogurt before and found it lacking in flavor. Why bother, was her initial reaction. Then she tried a layered fruit parfait: alternate spoonfuls of Greek yogurt with softened berries, strawberries, blueberries, or raspberries, maybe even a sprinkle of granola or crushed nuts for a texture contrast. If you're sensitive to seeds, you can easily mash or lightly cook the berries first so they become softer and seed pieces are less noticeable. Claire discovered that the creaminess of yogurt paired beautifully with the natural sweetness of fruit. By layering them, she created a visual treat that made her feel like she was indulging in something fancy, reminiscent of a dessert you might find in a chic cafe. For extra flavor, she added a swirl of honey or a sugar alternative. The result was a light yet satisfying dessert that also brought beneficial bacteria for her gut health. From a physical standpoint, using yogurt instead of heavy cream or ice cream can help moderate saturated fat intake and boost calcium, supporting bone health, an important consideration as we get older. And with probiotics, there's a potential benefit for digestive comfort, which can be especially valuable if you're on medications that affect gut flora. On the emotional side, transforming simple, readily available items like yogurt and fruit into a layered parfait can inspire pride and creativity. It's a quick-win project, easy to make and visually appealing. Claire started making these parfaits regularly, experimenting with different fruits, drizzling in a bit of agave nectar, and even adding a sprinkle of cinnamon or cocoa powder. She found this ritual offered a moment of self-care, a deliberate pause in her day where she could focus on enjoying a homemade delight rather than mindlessly snacking on something packaged. Admittedly, some folks worry yogurt might taste too sour or tangy, especially if they're used to sweet flavors. That's why layering and letting the fruit's natural juices seep into the yogurt helps harmonize the tastes. Another tip is to opt for vanilla-flavored yogurt if plain yogurt is too tart. But check the label for added sugars, as some flavored yogurts can be quite sweet. Look for lower sugar options or ones sweetened with fruit puree. By customizing each layer to your preference, you remain in control of how sweet or rich the parfait becomes. Lastly, I often hear seniors express concern that smoothie bowls or blender desserts are a trend meant only for younger generations. But these can be wonderfully accessible, especially if you have difficulty chewing or swallowing. Consider the story of Joe, 81, who had major dental work done and felt robbed of enjoying certain meals. His daughter introduced him to smoothie bowls as a dessert option: thick, spoonable blends of fruits, banana, berries, peaches, combined with yogurt or milk, dairy or non-dairy like almond milk, and optionally sweetened with honey or a sugar alternative. Joe was initially skeptical. Aren't smoothies just for breakfast? But once he tried it, he found that blending fruits into a creamy base gave him a chilled, velvety texture that tasted like a soft-serve ice cream, minus the heaviness. The misconception that older adults can't enjoy modern food trends is quickly dispelled by Joe's example. After sampling a blueberry banana bowl, topped with a small sprinkle of crushed nuts, which he could manage carefully since the rest was soft, Joe felt rejuvenated. It wasn't just about flavor. The colors, deep purple from the berries, sunny yellow from the banana, brought a spark of fun to his day. Physically, Joe appreciated that he could tailor the consistency to exactly what felt comfortable, adding extra milk for a thinner texture or using frozen fruit for a thicker, ice cream-like treat. Nutritionally, the fiber from the fruit plus the protein from yogurt or milk made it a well-rounded mini-meal, preventing the sugar crashes he sometimes experienced with more traditional desserts. Emotionally, blending up a smoothie bowl offered Joe a sense of novelty and connection to his family, who also loved making creative smoothie combinations. It became a multi-generational bonding experience. Everyone could customize their bowl with different fruits, toppings, or garnish. Through that simple act, Joe realized desserts could still feel joyful and communal, allowing him to partake in family mealtime traditions without sacrificing his newfound commitment to softer, more digestible foods. If you want to try something similar, simply blend together your favorite fruits, a source of protein like Greek yogurt or a protein-fortified milk, and a small handful of ice cubes for a frosty texture. If you need extra sweetness, you can add a drizzle of honey, but you might find that ripe bananas or berries do the job on their own. The key is to discover a combination that strikes a balance between satisfying your sweet tooth and supporting your overall well-being. Now, after walking through these dessert concepts, you might already be imagining your kitchen filled with the aroma of baked pears or the cheerful hum of a blender. It's exciting to think about how a few small tweaks to traditional sweets can open a world of enjoyable, senior-friendly treats. While it's true that not every dessert will be suitable for every individual, especially if you're managing specific medical conditions, these fruit-based desserts provide a reassuring baseline to experiment with. At this stage, I invite you to pause and consider, which of these ideas sparks your curiosity the most? Is it the warm-baked pear topped with a dash of cinnamon, the slow-simmered apple compote, the creamy layered yogurt parfait, or a chilled smoothie bowl perfect for days when you crave something cool? Sharing your thoughts or questions can spark new ideas for everyone here. When you step back and look at all these dessert possibilities, a picture emerges of a sweet and comforting path forward. In place of highly processed, sugar-laden treats that might leave you feeling guilty or unwell, you gain an array of fruit-based options that are gentle on your body and soul. Far from restricting your enjoyment, these desserts can actually expand your repertoire by introducing new flavors, textures, and simple preparation techniques. This is where the true transformation lies. Realizing that dessert doesn't have to disappear from your life, but it can evolve into something that serves your changing nutritional and emotional needs. One reason to take this seriously now is that small changes can compound over time. If you're already watching sugar intake for blood pressure or blood sugar reasons, switching from sugary pastries to fruit-based desserts can be a key step toward better daily management. If you're dealing with dental sensitivity or chewing difficulties, soft desserts prevent needless pain and help keep mealtimes pleasurable. Moreover, if you've felt a growing sense of isolation, believing you can't join friends or family in sweet treats, these fruit desserts can rekindle that communal spirit. You can once again partake in birthdays, holiday gatherings, or simple weekly get-togethers without hesitation. If you're ready to bring these ideas into your own home, start with a single dessert that appeals to you the most. Maybe set aside an afternoon to prepare it, taste it, and note how your body responds. If it feels good and tastes good, consider adding it to your weekly rotation. You can explore another recipe the following week, or tweak the first one by using different fruits or spices. If you have friends or relatives who are in a similar boat, why not invite them over for a taste testing session? Share experiences, compare notes, and maybe even start a little dessert club. After all, there's strength and encouragement in community, and cooking together can be a fun way to stay socially active. Of course, it's always wise to consult a healthcare professional, especially if you have specific dietary concerns or chronic conditions. Their guidance can help ensure that fruit-based desserts align with your overall nutritional plan. If mobility in the kitchen is a challenge, you can adapt the process. For instance, use pre-cut fruit, a smaller blender that's easier to handle, or ask a friend to help with tasks like cutting and lifting. The important thing is to recognize that with a few adjustments, these desserts can fit into nearly any senior lifestyle. I'd encourage you to take a step today. If you have some ripe fruit on hand, apples, pears, bananas, or berries, try whipping up one of these desserts. Even a small success can be deeply motivating, showing you firsthand that life after 75 can still be sweet, literally and figuratively. If you find a recipe you love, share it with others who might benefit. And if you're already brimming with ideas on how to personalize these desserts, maybe you've got a special family spice blend or a healthier topping in mind, why not share that knowledge too? Think of this as a collective journey we're all on, striving to make the golden years as warm and inviting as they deserve to be. As you finish this video, I invite you to do three things. First, pick one dessert to try this week, just one. Second, share your experiences in the comments or with a friend who might enjoy a sweet treat. Third, if you're feeling ambitious, schedule a small get-together, even if it's virtual, to show off your new fruit-based creation. Each step you take connects you more deeply with the joy that food can bring and with the community of older adults embracing these delicious, soft, and nurturing desserts. Remember, it's your life, your body, and your taste buds. You have every right to keep dessert on the menu, even as your needs evolve. By focusing on natural sweetness, gentle textures, and wholesome ingredients, you stand at the threshold of a sweet new chapter, one where self-care and enjoyment happily coexist. Let this be an empowering reminder that growing older doesn't mean losing out on life's small pleasures. It just means discovering new, often better ways to experience them. May your kitchen be filled with enticing aromas and your heart full of delight, knowing that dessert can still be a wonderful part of your daily life.